Okay, you guys, what is up? The King of Lightning is here today. Oh man, wow. The King of Lightning is here today to do Hunter x Hunter 2011 episode 80 review. That is 80. Here it comes, here it comes. Now, of course, before I get started, look down in the description below for the link to this week's episode of Hunter x Hunter. And a little bit of disclaimer here. As always, no Japanese company, corporation, or network has any claim to this video. The thumbnail is an original photo which belongs to no Japanese company, corporation, or network. The visuals are me. They do not own me. And the audio is me speaking over a homemade soundtrack or a soundtrack in general. This video follows the rules/guidelines provided and set by Google/YouTube. Now, that being said, man, I mean, I knew that Ponzu went out because I questioned whether or not at the beginning of the arc, I questioned, like when we first saw her, I questioned whether or not she was actually part of the actual arc, and people told me like, yeah, like she is. So I knew that. All right, so that was because I forgot about that, but yeah, that was obviously true. And then when I remembered that she was a part of the arc, I remember that she died, but I forgot how she died. And seeing it here, I mean, I guess the most horrific part about the entire scene, the part that was really just horrifying, wasn't the fact that she died by the hands of a Chimera Ants, who wasn't even like a commander. Like, you know, it was a Chimera Ant who was just fucking around with the guns and shit, who was just testing, and he was enjoying the hunt and how humans hunt with their weapons, with their guns. It was the fact that it was so basic. Like, it was just basic as fuck. Like, that's how people die in modern day. Like, they're not getting eaten and ripped apart by these monstrous creatures and being hunted down and being culled for this queen. No, like, they're not doing that. They're not doing that. People don't die like that. This was so realistic in the sense that people actually die this way. They get shot, and then like this guy, and he was laughing hysterically. He was like, yeah, like this is awesome, and then he's just shooting and shooting and shoot. It's like, oh my god. And then the worst part about that scene was just, you know, like she was trying so hard to like save Poco, and then she was trying to go to the border and then trying, you know, form the other hunters in these hunter association. She didn't even get close to the border. She got shot down. And I mean, granted, like she's not even a hunter. Like she doesn't have her license yet. I mean, her Nen a bit. I mean, like she knows about Nen, but I doubt she has any real knowledge of it. I mean, now it's too late. She's dead. But it was like when she shot and then she fell down, the guy was laughing. And then he kept on shooting her, bam, bam, bam. And then just seeing her body convulse, I was like, oh my god, it's ridiculous, man. Because that's how shit actually is, man. Like, that's how it actually is. It's insane. Like, wow, that was horrific scene, bro. It was just like, yo. And then just when you see, like, after Kite, Killua and Gon received the message. I mean, and that's the sad part too. Had she stayed where she would have stayed, she would have survived probably, because then she would have met up with Gon and Kai and Killua. But then she ran off and shit because she really wanted to stay Poca, and then no. It was like, no, bro. And then like when Gon, Killua, and Kai, they get to the location, and then you just see the blood on the ground, and you see her hat, and you're like, ah. It's just like, fuck. It's a fuck, man. God damn. Like, it's a good scene because the way they portray it was very horrific. It was very, you know, it was very impactful. Like, it was very heavy because, again, like, it shows you, like, yeah, like, this shit is some real, like, in modern day sense, like, it's some real life shit. And Like, I was heavy. Very heavy. And also it's very important because it shows you the intellectual development and the evolution of the Chimera Ants and how they are constantly improving themselves for A, the task of hunting humans, B, their intellect and their knowledge and their understanding of human technology and human weaponry, C, the fact that early on in the episode when we saw Colt and we saw Pengy and Cheetu, they were examining bodies and figuring out the way these soldiers died. And then C, the fact that the individualism is so strong where the Chimeras aren't even considering feeding the queen anymore, except for like, you know, like there's like a majority of them are, but there are some of them like Yunjun, for example, and the guy we saw eat Ponzu, who they're eating the humans for themselves. Even that one guy, the weird spider, Pike. Just there. So the individual, I can't answer the word, man. The individualism is growing. The more and more and more Chimera ants the queen produces, because the staple diet that she's consuming, like the staple that she is, like her staple food now, are humans. She's demanding 50 humans a day. So, you know, very heavy, man. Just, you know, very heavy, very impactful. And the anime did a very good job in portraying that. Even still more with the Gyro flashback about how, because we never knew who he was, Gyro. We never find out who he is, period. But Gyro is a very key character when it comes to. All I want to say is that remember that Gyro was deemed the king of the NGL. All right. That's all I'm gonna say. Actually, no. I'll say some more. All right. I'll say some more. Right. Remember, one of the key traits of the Chimera Ants is to take the direct genetic gene makeup of another species and directly transfer it to the offspring of the Chimera Ant, the Chimera Ant Queen in particular. It's a direct genetic gene transfer, and selecting the best parts of that specific genome to the offspring of the queen, the Chimera Queen. I forgot the exact name. And remember what her goal is right now. Her goal is to produce the what? The king. The king. So keep that in mind. Alright? Keep that in mind. We have this guy, Gyro, who was the king of the NGL. He was taken and culled. He was culled by the Chimera Ants. They have the ability to directly take the genes of the Ian species to their offspring. And remember that her goal right now is to give birth to the king. Alright, enough said. I mean, it's not a big deal in the sense that we don't know shit about Gyro when it comes to like modern day Gyro. You know, like we got his flashback and how he came to be. And that was also very heavy because of the narration, like the way the narration was and how they were talking about Gyro and how like we had that scene of his father, and the narration did a very good job of how they're emphasizing how, yeah, like he saw his father as God. I'm like, and then seeing that being stripped away from this dude who was talking about how, well, no, like his father, like he didn't care for you when you were a child. Like I was the neighbor. Like you were you were Drury, so like Drury. You were drowsy, so you didn't know what was going on exactly. Like you were in and out of it. But it was the neighbor who took care of your ass, and your father only wants you there because of the fucking money that you bring in every day. So, and then just seeing that being, you know, narrated throughout the entire course of the flashback, that was heavy, man. That was heavy. It was heavy. The whole entire flashback was heavy. The ending scene where we have Pokel and his unit get taken out, except for him. The one guy got taken out nasty. I mean, swipe, and then his head went flying all the way around. But he was still conscious. And then he was like, wait, they're here! And he's like, but your head, oh, man. Like, you just got decapitated. and he's still talking. Like that's heavy, man. That one guy, in the York Sin City arc, that one guy, who got decapitated by Nobunaga. That guy didn't go out, like, he wasn't like that. But this guy, you know, he was talking to Poco, then fucking swipe, and then like clean cut, and then, you know, head on the ground, and then he yells. And it's like, whoa. And then very, very important to note, in that scene, the big spider guy that came up was actually able to grab Poco's Nen arrows. This thing actually has some degree of Nen control, but not any Nen knowledge. Because remember, they don't know what Nen is. Alright, Nen is new to them, like they have no idea what the fuck it is. But now that they just saw Poco, you know, now they're gonna, you know, I mean, Zazan believes that, she's probably right, that Poco is very nutritious because he has a mastery of Nen. And remember, one of the parts of Nen, when it comes to Nen control, one of the things that remains is vitality. You keep vitality, and like you live for a longer period of time. Like you can see, like for example, Biscuit, like she's like 50 years old plus, and you know, even in her muscular form, she looks like she's like 30 or 20, like 20, yeah. So like you retain vitality. Like it was something about Wing. Like Wing was saying, like the Nen, like normally your aura seeps out of you if you have no Nen control. But if you can master Nen control, then you can prevent the Nen from seeping out of you and thus retain your vitality. Something of that nature. I believe it has to do with Ren, but I'm not too sure about that exactly. But either way, moving on. Very important to keep though. Very important to keep that, you know, that these high caliber Chimera Ants can actually see Nen. So very important. And then also what's very important to also note is that Colt, he was talking to Pengy about how, well, if humans can do it, then we can do it too, because we have their genes. Food for thought. Food for thought. So this may lead to something even more horrifying. Listen, they're already horrifying. But according to the way the story's going right now, it appears that they're going to be absolutely horrific later on in this arc. And I won't say anything else, because if I do, I'm going to spoil for you, and you guys don't be spoiled. It's that simple. Alright, but yeah, man. I mean, I guess what I can say, like the last thing I'm going to say, is that, of course, we have Kite talking about how he understands about the whole entire thing about their ability to directly link their genes to their offspring from the food that they eat, the Chimera Ant Queen, and how he notices that, and he now knows that the NGL are probably, you know, taken out by the Chimera Ants, and they're probably fed to the Queen. So he understands that the NGL and their genes, their direct genes being given to the offspring of the Queen, is a horrifying possibility. And he says that at the end of the episode. It's a horrifying possibility. And an extreme biohazard. So he's like, we need to get on this shit ASAP. And that's why early on he sent those two guys, the cook guy and the other guy, to go and inform the Hunter Association. Alright? They need to get in some reinforcements. Alright, they need some very powerful reinforcements, alright? Now, oh man, alright, they need some very powerful reinforcements, right? And that's, you know, they're on the way. Now, and the last thing I'm gonna say, basically, Colt at some point said the name Reina. When he was talking to Pengy about the whole entire situation about the Queen, he mentioned the name Reina, okay? And of course, we know that, the kid Kurt, had a little sister named Reina, and he was very protective of her. And we see this transfer with Colt and him being very protective of the Queen, because Colt is the first humanoid Chimera Ant. So again, it re-emphasizes the direct gene trait, and it may go even deeper than that, because he said a name that he should never have said, but he said it anyway. So it's probably even deeper than that. And that I won't go any further than that because then there'll be even more spoilers. So, but I'm done. The episode overall, I'm gonna give it a grade. I liked it a lot. Like the episode, I liked it a lot. The flashback was fucking amazing. It was a damn good flashback of this guy Gyro, and it emphasizes his importance later on. And then at the same time, the ending again, man, just man, holy fucking shit, man. Oh, God, that was gruesome. That was horrifying. Yeah, and impactful. This episode had a lot of impact. Just a lot of impact. A lot. And again, it shows you the individualism growth of the Chimera Ants, the intellect growth of the Chimera Ants, the evolution of the Chimera Ants. Like it shows you just how horrifying these guys are, how big of a threat they are to humanity. Because they're doing this, they're destroying an entire country in like a few weeks. And imagine if they got their king on lock. Because remember, the royal guard haven't even showed the fuck up yet. Because the queen right now, the royal ones haven't, like the royal guard, the king, they're still in their pods, and she's gonna name them. And if the commanders are this powerful, imagine the fucking royal guard. All right, so leave it at that. So I'm done. Episode overall rating, I'll give it a great, and I'm signing out. Be sure, of course, rate, comment, and subscribe as always. Peace. Have a nice day.